Now we are parked a little bit away, as you can see. I don't want to get too close to the baboons and disturb them, because obviously that will interrupt what's going on with Graham. And if we have any new viewers, Graham sometimes joins us for a fireside chat, and sometimes he has joined us for a drive to introduce us to the troop. And I'm sure he is going to be absolutely ecstatic after this meeting. You can really see how close one of the dominant males is getting to him, and I know he really enjoys when they trust him enough to come up this close to him. And it has taken a long time for him to gain their trust. It's not something that happens overnight. Let's say he spent about 6.5, 7 years with them, and gradually building up that trust. I think this is the closest I've ever seen them get to him. You can hear the brown-headed parrots calling in the distance there. Oh, this really is incredible. I really haven't seen the baboons get this close, probably about half a metre. It looks like they're just a few centimetres away from him. And you can still see they're so relaxed. Could be a few insects that are moving around because of all the damp weather. I know there was a few termites that started leaving the nest yesterday, last night. I think Mark said he found some, so it could be there's some termites on the ground. Obviously with all the rain that we've been having, there's a lot of insect movement. There certainly is something there that's keeping the baboons entertained for breakfast this morning. Hi Vivian, welcome on board this morning, all the way from Chicago. And Vivian, you're wanting to know, have the baboons ever tried to groom Graham? And he said he has said that as yet he's not had that. And I was actually thinking that the big male, I'm wondering if it's either Barry or Tankman. It was certainly looking like, at one point he looked like he was going to try and groom Graham. But as yet, they haven't made that transition. And I know he'll be extremely ecstatic when that happens, if that ever happens. But he is the lowest ranking member, and he said he's quite happy staying there. So we'll see, the further up the ranks you go, the more politics you get into, and he said he's quite happy not getting into all those politics. So remember, baboons are extremely dangerous, or they can be extremely dangerous. Their canine teeth are quite large, and if they decide to bite you, there would be quite a big problem. Now, if I was to go and try and do what Graham's doing now, we'd probably see the baboons running off into the trees. If I was to walk over to them now, if I was to drive over to them, we may or may not disturb them. They are getting used to the vehicle, and I think we are getting cool by association. I know they have checked us out a few times, and when we have seen Graham and he's not reacted to us, they've kind of checked us out, and I think they're realising that, you know, we're not a threat to them either. But if I was to drive right up to them, we would have a problem, and they would run away. If we were down in the Cape, unfortunately people have fed baboons, and they've associated humans with food, and unfortunately that's where the baboons have become extremely dangerous, because they've now lost the fear of humans, and they now associate humans with easy source of food, and so they intimidate humans. So you would actually get the baboons displaying their teeth and being quite aggressive towards people to get the food out of them, even breaking into people's houses. Now here, Graham isn't using food at all, so they're not associating Graham or humans in this area with getting food. We managed to cover the bins and things like that. Occasionally they do come and raid the bins if we haven't closed them up properly, but we don't feed them directly, so they still haven't made the association to take food from people, from the hands. So they haven't learned to make that association. So what Graham's doing also won't cause them to make that association. And welcome on board to you this morning, Anne. I'm from Vancouver Island. And Anne wanting to know what the baboons are eating. It's difficult to say, Anne, but I think with all the rains that we've had, there's possibly quite a large influx in insects, and I'm wondering if that is what they are eating for breakfast this morning. And I know, as Mark was coming back in from drive last night, he was saying there's a lot of winged termites around, and the winged termites leave the nest after very heavy rains, when the soil is nice and damp, where they're able to make new colonies. So I wonder if there may have been some termites that have landed around there. There may be some ants moving around looking for food. So it's quite an overcast day, so you do get quite a lot of movement from those types of insects. So there may be seeds. I think just out on the open area like that, I think it's more likely the insects.